Still multi-dropping. Bit of YouTube hate going on. And all in all, a decent week.
Good morning everybody, welcome to Monday morning. I'm Dave, Amber Logistics, and it's the 13th of March. And we're just about to start our week. Just leaving the house now. It's a rainy start to the week, but at least it's not as cold as it was. Showing 10 degrees on my dashboard. So I've not had to drive around with a fleece on, which I don't like doing. And we're off, and we're multi-dropping again this week. They've asked me to do another week. So I've agreed to do that because obviously I want to keep in with them, and the money is bloody good. So what's the week going to bring apart from that? Well, the van is going to be due its MOT at the end of this month. So I'm going to ring the garage today to get it booked in for a full service. It's coming up to a service soon anyway, so I might as well get it all done. And the MOT at the same time. The brakes seem perfectly fine, and they've got quite a lot of meat on them still, but the rear discs do seem to have a bit of a lip on them, so I'll probably get the brakes done. I've budgeted for all of this anyway, and I'd sooner start the new MOT year off with like new sets of brakes. So we'll probably have the brakes done. I've got to get the windscreen repaired. I did get some suggestions from some subscribers as who to use, thank you very much. And I've had various quotes, and I've had a quote for £190 fitted, which I think is really, really reasonable. So I'm going to be telephoning them today to see when it's convenient to get that done. I'm hoping they'll do a Saturday for me. Even better, I'm hoping they'll come to my house. But if not, then we'll obviously take a day off and get it done. But I want to get that done just before it goes in for the MOT, because when the way sometimes your bad luck can strike and you get the new windscreen done on, and then you get a stone chip on it the day before MOT. That's why I've held off so long, really, having this done. I mean, it's only got a crack. It's a 6-inch crack, and it's down on the driver's side at towards the bottom of the screen, but it has spread, you know, it was perhaps 2 or 3 inches. So, and I think it will fail the MOT. Well, it told me it'll fail the MOT. So we'll get that done. So we'll start the van off with a nice new MOT and a new windscreen. Always costs money. Running vehicles isn't cheap. I've obviously had new tyres on the front anyway. The ones on the back are great, they've got loads of tread, and so there's no point in changing them at the moment, and the ones at the front are obviously brannies that I was forced to get anyway when I had the issues with the punctures and the valve. So we're okay in that department. All bulbs etc. working fine. We've got no warning lights on the dashboard. Obviously I checked my engine oils and fluids and done that this morning before we've left. Checked everything's okay. So I'm hoping the MOT will be relatively straightforward. So fingers crossed. So I'm going to get all that arranged this week, and then we'll work out when I can get the van in, get it done, because I'm going away for a short break with the wife at the end of the month, beginning of April. So obviously it needs all boxing away before I do that. So we'll see what the week brings. I hope that everybody's week is successful, and I hope that things are starting to pick up for you. As you know, at the moment I haven't been doing any work on the courier exchange, because this obviously is my own work, and I'm only going by what people tell me the courier exchange is like at the moment, and it's not particularly good. However, it may now start to be picking up a bit. I did glance at the feed on Friday and it seemed relatively busy, but that doesn't tell me what the jobs are going for, does it? And for that, at the moment, you need to tune into the people who are working mainly on the courier exchange to get the feedback from that. So I would recommend that you tune into Tall Man Small Van. I think it's TSSV Services, something like, I can't remember the initials he's got now. Saintsman's away on holiday, so he can't tell you nout. But Neil from Neptune still works quite a lot on the courier exchange, although he does have his own customers. James, Freddie Fletcher, obviously nearly always has his own customers. And Toby and Ryan from Firkin Freight, they are mixed at the moment. I think they've got some of their own customers, and they are dipping the toes into the courier exchange. Not very successfully recently, but maybe that will improve. Tom from TG Services, he's pretty much exclusively on the courier exchange, so it's worth checking him out to see what the current situation is. And Andy P, again, he does have one client of his own that gives him reasonable work and does work on the courier exchange quite a lot. So all of these people are worth checking out. Remember that there have been on social media quite a few comments from people saying that, oh, the YouTubers are the reason why the courier exchange is so bad. Obviously that's their opinion. In my opinion, they're all as thick as a donkey's dick, if that's what they think. The reason why the prices on the courier exchange are so bad is because it's supply and demand, isn't it? There is simply more drivers out there than there is work available, so therefore the prices go lower because the drivers bid lower. It's just, it would be great if everybody kind of bid to a standard kind of charge, because then the market price would remain more or less the same. But human nature dictates that they panic when it's quiet and bid low, therefore driving the prices down. But people look for someone to blame, don't they? So they seem to be trying to blame YouTubers for attracting people to the courier exchange. The reason why I do this channel is to try and help people who are potentially thinking of coming on the courier exchange. But the courier exchange is a starting platform. You know, the ultimate aim will be to get some of your own work, just like I've done. I have no doubt that had I been working solely on the courier exchange for the last few weeks, I would have struggled. I've been lucky, I've got myself my own source of income from an alternative source, and it's working out at the moment quite well. But I'm not going to rest on my laurels with that. I am going to keep trying. And in fact, I actually had an inquiry via the website last week as well. I mean, it wasn't any good for me. It was nothing that I could do, because they wanted a curtain side of Luton van, and not even in my area. I mean, I suppose I could have quoted it and put it on the courier exchange, but that's not really what I want to do, because, you know, it would be a new customer, and I wouldn't have any control over it, would I? You know, if I get a new customer, I'd certainly want to do all the initial jobs myself, just to get a feel about what they want, and, you know, give them a good service and build up a good impression. But no, use the courier exchange if you've got nothing else. Of course, you've got no choice, and it is good for that. If you've got nothing else, it is good for that. But it was essentially a backload site, but you'll get some work off it, which is better than no work, as long as you get a reasonable price. But you're never going to get the full price off the courier exchange, simply because, you know, shippers and freight forwards are putting work on there, which they will take their running costs out of that before you get it. So I'm sorry, you YouTube haters, but you are wrong, and you can't really blame the YouTubers for the state of the courier exchange or your own financial situation. It's probably more to do with your ineptness than anything else. So you blame the YouTubers, yet you watch the channels. Go figure. Anyway, have a great Monday, everybody, and we'll be in touch, hopefully, later in the week. Morning, everyone. It's Thursday morning. It's coat day, the dreaded day. We don't like coat day, but we've got to do it. But the van's all getting ready soon for its MOT next week. And look at that. It's booked in Monday, windscreen. Crack goes right up to there now, and that's within the sweep of the wipers. So I've got to get the windscreen replaced. But I think £190 fitted is a pretty fair price. So I'm happy with that. So I've got the van emptied, about as tidy as it can be. And in a bit, it's just going to be full to the ginnels with various loads, mainly cokes and syrups and gases. Coat day, the dreaded day. Oh well, I suppose we'll go and get my stuff and get it in. Still Thursday and we are loaded now, we are off. And you know what the good news is? The good news is no cokes. They've decided, in their wisdom, and it is wise, to put everything on a single van to do those coke delivery, dedicated van. So, and that van's not me. They've given me grown-up ADR things to do. So I am doing those today. I have got 18 drops, but they're all more or less business to business. And which means, generally speaking, they're a lot quicker to do. So I reckon I'll have knocked this out and be home for 4 o'clock. That's my guess today, which pleases me in no end. And then tomorrow is the last day before weekend, and then obviously off Monday because I'm getting the vehicle windscreen replaced, weather permitting. It is officially my last day on this, but I've got a feeling that I'll be asked to do some more. I think they want to train the new driver up. They normally say they have him doing a bit of a ride around with an existing driver for a week or so. So I suspect that I'll be getting a little bit more out of this yet, which I'm glad about because I've got used to it now. Got to know the guys in the depot, and it's getting easier because I'm used to it. And obviously there's lots and lots of places I've been to a few times now, and you know where to go, you know the best people to see. It's like everything else when you do deliveries and you go to a strange place, you're not too sure where goods in is. You're not too sure which gate you should go to, who you should speak to. And once you've been a few times, got to know the places, the whole process becomes a lot quicker and a lot easier. Today's run, I've got a couple in the centre of Manchester, but they are people working on buildings in the centre of Manchester, and you normally have a mobile number, you can ring them before you get there, and they're generally waiting for you when you arrive. And got one at a hospital, which is some chemicals for the labs. It's the MRI, which is the big one in Manchester, Manchester Royal Infirmary. It is massive, and I've never delivered there. But once you find out where goods in is, it's normally pretty straightforward, and then you've sussed it, haven't you? So today should be a decent day. Tomorrow is the last day. The only thing about tomorrow is if I don't complete the run, I have to make sure I bring all the goods back to the depot that night, evening, afternoon or whatever, because I won't be back in on Monday, and obviously they're going to be re-delivered on Monday. But I've not had anything yesterday. I shouldn't have anything today, and hopefully the same for tomorrow. And then I have been looking at the CX and keeping an eye out on the feed. There's hardly any ADR work coming out, and it doesn't seem all that prolific. There is work about, but because I'm not bidding, I'm only going by what other people are saying, how difficult it is to secure work. I suppose it depends on what you bid at, but you know me, I will not bid lower than I feel I'm worth. So I've fallen lucky on this contract. Short term though it may be, but they seem to think they can keep me in some fairly regular work, so let's hope so. But it's going to be pennies wise an expensive week or so, because MOT is due as
well. And I'm not going to skimp on the van. The van is my livelihood. So, and then I've got to start thinking and making sure I'm prepared for June, which is insurance renewal. They're all due. My goods in transit, my liability cover. Now my CX, in theory, I had a 15-month deal when I signed up. So it'd be interesting to see if they come to me in June asking for money, when in fact it shouldn't be. It should be September. But we'll see, and I'll argue the toss with them at the time. I think even though I'm getting quite regular work from these, I will still keep and retain my CX membership, because you never know, do you? Although it is expensive, it's got to be said. So I've got to make sure I'm planning for all of that ahead of time. You don't want no nasty surprises, do you? Anyway, let's carry on. We'll have a roundup on Friday. Afternoon, everybody. It's Friday afternoon. Well, it's almost evening. It's 4:10 in the afternoon. I am heading back to the depot. Because I've got a couple of deliveries that I couldn't do. And obviously, normally I'd keep them on the van. But today I can't do that because I'm not in on Monday. I'm having the windscreen replaced, hopefully, if the weather's alright. So I've got to go back to the depot, drop these off, hand in my papers, etc. And someone else will deal with these on Monday. Now, the two reasons why I couldn't deliver. First one was a pallet of the dreaded Coca-Cola that went out yesterday with another driver. And he couldn't deliver. It was at the Trafford Centre, where you've got to go to various loading, cargo areas, and he couldn't get in. And he's only allowed to wait so long because obviously it's multi-dropping. So we had to leave it. So, unfortunately for me, when I got in this morning, it was put on my run, and it's quite a lot of stuff for one of the larger outlets in the Trafford Centre, one of the food outlets, for the Cokes and everything. And I had the same problem. I got to the loading area that's designated for that particular outlet, and it was chocker. I was told that it'd be at least an hour before I can get in, so I rang HQ, told them, and was told, no, leave it. If it's only going to be 15 minutes, that's fine. If not, leave it. Because it's not just 15 minutes. I mean, if you wait 15 minutes to get in, this is a pallet. I don't have, obviously, access to a forklift truck. There isn't one there. So it's going to be broken open, put into one of them cages, wheeled through all the endless corridors to the retail outlet, excuse me, and obviously delivered. And the whole thing probably takes about 45 minutes after you've got in. So they told me to leave that one, and then I had another one where I went to a company to deliver some chemicals, and they closed early down on a Friday. So I turned up about 3 to find the place locked up, and they've all gone. This does happen quite a bit on Fridays, actually. A lot of firms seem to like the early down on a Friday. So I'm taking these back. They'll be distributed out on Monday, unless they're doing some deliveries over the weekend. They do work pretty much all the time, this place. And they have asked me to carry on next week. So they've asked me to do Tuesday to Friday next week. I'm assuming it's while they're training up this driver on this same run, that is. Although they are saying, yeah, we think we can find quite a bit of work for you, which is great, because at the moment the money is good, and obviously I'm not having to scab about on the courier exchange trying to find lower price work. And I've been a bit disappointed with the courier exchange recently. I know it's not their fault, it's easy to blame them, but I've been a bit disappointed with the market, the way it is, and the fact that the rates are not good enough. Quite frankly, I know I keep saying it, but just bid for what you're worth, people. Don't cow down and bid these stupid low prices, doing yourself out of money. It's stupid, man. Absolutely stupid. Or go out and find some work of your own. Not easy, I know. And it's took me ages to get this, hasn't it? But the prices that they're going for, I'm kind of glad I'm not on it. And I'll have a dilemma come June or September it should be. Am I going to renew it? Am I going to pay over 16? Well, it's probably more now. It was 1,600 when I did it. If I'm not going to use it very much, don't know. There might be alternatives out there that I'm going to look at. Is it worth paying a bit extra to go on someone else's CX? I don't know how it would work. It has been suggested to me by someone I know in the past. It never went any further. But is it better to collaborate with someone and pay a bit extra for some kind of fleet thing and then kind of share the financial burden? Would that be cheaper than just having your own CX membership? I don't know. Well, I'm certainly going to look into it because I want to look at all the best options that are open to me. I mean, if it is still 1,600, someone said it was 1,800, I don't know yet. It's a lot of money if I'm not going to use it a lot. It was worth it last year because I had absolutely no other work of my own. I'd just begun, and it was an entry into the game, wasn't it? It got me to know people, it got me contacts, and so it was worth it for that. But at the moment, I'm not entirely sure I'd want to pay for it. But this could all end, everything could go tits up, couldn't it? And so I don't know. Well, look at the difference in the weather as well. Yesterday I'm driving, I had a woolly hat on, a fleece on. Today I'm in short sleeves, baldy head on display because it's nice and warm. So the weather's a bit freaky at the moment, isn't it? I'm enjoying it today. It's been a nice day. I really enjoyed it. So I expect to get back to the yard about 5-ish. Unload this, hand in the papers. Should be home for about 6. Got a bit of paperwork to do. Some payments have come in. I'll do them at some point over the weekend, reconcile them all. And everyone, apart from one, is up to date. And I feel as though I'm getting a bit of a run around from these. I did a friendly email and then a reminder email, and it's so passed on to the accounts department. So, you know what? I don't know whether... I feel like I want to name them, to be honest with you, and say, these people don't pay properly. Avoid them. Because at first I always give people the benefit of the doubt. You know, it could be a genuine administrative mistake. It might have been a mistake on my part too. But no, because we're on to email number 3 and 2 phone calls and still no payment. But they're still trading on the CX. So that makes me think, you're just taking the piss out of me. And I don't like having the piss taken out of me. Well, nobody does, do they? So, I don't know. What do you people think? Is it illegal to name someone if I'm not telling a lie? Or do you think it's a bit unfair to name them? They haven't paid yet. It is quite overdue. They should have paid it about a month ago. And I don't know. Do you think if we start naming people on these YouTube channels, it might improve things? Again, I don't know. It's very, very difficult scenario. I think I'll get paid, but they're just pissing me about. And I don't like it. I mean, I'm never going to work for them again, ever. I mean, I will not do a single job for this firm whatsoever. And I'm going to leave them shitty feedback when I eventually get the money. But you know, some people seem to ignore that anyway. But that's the only one. Everyone else is paying more or less on time. Some ahead of time. You get some really good shippers out there, don't you? They're not all bad. There are some nice ones. In fact, probably the majority are alright, aren't they? But there seems to be an awful lot going to the wall recently. I'm looking on the forums. Is it something to do with this trusted scheme? I don't know. I've got the old blue tick. Now I'm a trustee, whatever you would be. Not that it would make a difference to me. I've not actually been bidding for any work, have I? And do you shippers, if you any of you shippers watch these YouTube channels, and do you take any notice of that trusted? Does it actually mean anything to you, or do you just simply look for the feedback? Be interesting to see it from a shipper's perspective. Anyway, enough waffle. I see Beardy's back posting now, which is quite good. Not that we're a threat to him with his thousands of subscribers, but it is nice to see him back, because he is the person, and Pete, who were the ones who I watched before I started. So it's good to see that he's back, starting to post again. But in the meantime, I'd like to catch up to him. I'll never will, but will you give me a like if you like our videos, and will you subscribe to the channel if you like it? Thank you for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next week with my new windscreen, hopefully, so I'll see you better then, won't I? You all take care. Oh, sorry, before I do go, I apologise for the noise. It's this bloody fire extinguisher behind me. The screws are a bit loose. I'm going to have to look at this over the weekend, because it does make too much bloody noise. I'm either going to relocate it, or I'm going to get some better screws. You can't have really long ones, because they go through into the cab on the other side, into the actual cargo area. So I've got these shorty ones, but I just don't think they're strong enough, and it's a bit noisy. So I might look at bolting it onto something, but I do apologise for this noise. Someone did point it out actually, and yes, it is annoying and probably not very safe.